I'm taking over the podcast. Hello. Okay, welcome to my show. Don't really know what we're going to talk about, but this is the show now.
What's up, party animals? Welcome back to the Reyes Reflection Podcast. If you're a newbie, then welcome. But if you keep coming back, then you must really love me. So I appreciate that you keep giving me the love. Also do so on the socials at I'm Nathanael Reyes. And if you have not subscribed, it is just a click of a button. Just that simple. Pretty easy. Subscribe, like, comment, share, tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your grandma. Anybody is welcome to the Reyes Reflection Podcast. Now, time to give some love to my partners. Mad Rabbit Tattoo Aftercare, BYOB, is taking on a whole new meaning. It is build your own bundle. Save 20% when you use promo code Reyes Reflection. Jocko Fuel, Halloween time means that pumpkin spice is back, and we even have a protein powder of pumpkin spice. Save 10% when you use promo code Reyes Reflection. And lastly, Peanut Crunch, snacks to fuel your fitness. Code is MULCE10. Now, on to the introduction of my guest. I'm going to start this introduction a little differently this time, okay? By paraphrasing some of the most inspirational quotes ever. Be the change you wish to see in the world. Gandhi. Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing. Babe Ruth. I want to mother you, okay? Gwen Stefani. The last one was shared with because my next guest had that saying said to her. She is a talented singer and songwriter. She is a contestant on season 24 of The Voice, and she writes songs, not bios. So without further ado, the lit friend, the lovely, talented Kristen Brown, welcome to the pod.
Oh my gosh, that was the best intro ever. I was like, oh, I'm loving this. And I can't help the Babe Ruth quote. I think a Cinderella story with Hilary Duff, too. So there's that.
That is true. That is a good movie. That is good. Chad Michael Murray. I mean,
yes, correct.
Heartthrob of the 90s. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for doing this. We'll get into your time on The Voice and all that stuff, but I want to learn a little bit more about you. So before we do, what is the number one rule on a boat?
On the boat, you got to hold onto your hat. You can't be on a bass boat not holding onto your hat. You're going to lose it. Absolutely, without a doubt.
That's why I wore my hat for this episode. That's what
I love that. I'm honored.
Now, what is the first rule when you're not wearing a hat?
When you're not you got to put up in a ponytail. This is literally, I learned the hard way. As a kid, I used to think, I'm just going to wear my hair down on the boat. No, there is a surefire way to be dealing with snarls in your hair nonstop. So if any of the gals need bass boat tips, I got them covered.
or the guys with long hair. Yeah.
Yes, or our long-haired kings.
Yeah, that's right. Much like myself. So we talked about this because on the episode, your dad is a pro bass fisherman. Is that correct?
He is, yeah.
What is a pro bass fisherman? What is the day-to-day of a pro bass fisherman?
So back in the day, like pre-me, basically, my dad was all over the place doing tournaments, even as I was a kid, just all over the country fishing in any lake he could, especially in California. That was where he loved it. Clear Lake's his favorite lake. And as I got older, he got very into working with the boat companies. He has a radio show. And so it's called Ultimate Bass Radio. He has been on the air for, I'm a terrible daughter, I think 19 years. It could be 20. I don't know. Many years. So it's been a long time. He's still doing the show every Saturday morning. So he is big into the media of fishing, but also he's on the lake all the time. And that's what makes him such a cool staple in that community, is that he does it all.
So he's on the boat and and not only that, he's sharing the experiences and nuances to his audience as well.
Correct. Yeah. No, he's all over the place. He loves sharing anything he knows. He gets on all the other top fishing guys. They all come on the show. They all talk about their little trade secrets. So if you listen to the show, it's like kind of being a part of a secret club.
Okay. That is really cool. I have a terrible fishing story. So I went with my dad one time and he casted the line backwards and the hook went in my knee. And so my folks are split. So this was the weekend I went with my dad. And so my dad was trying to somehow find a way that we can go to the hospital, get this hook taken out without my mother knowing. But yes.
Oh my gosh!
Yes. So that is the horrible fishing story. And I went one time when I was older. We went deep sea fishing when I was in high school. And we found this really ugly looking fish. I don't even know if it was a real species. I'm sure the picture is somewhere on Facebook, and it looked like an angler slash.
Oh my gosh!
It
All
was a
National
hybrid
Geographic could have discovered this whole new
species.
species.
Absolutely. You know what? I probably should have. And if the internet was that big, I would have. Back then, I would have put it out there and been like, check this out. Look at this crazy fish that I caught. But,
Yeah, you have to name the species after yourself naturally, and then it would have been amazing.
I could have. But you know what? We live and we learn. We grow up and we make these mistakes. So I want to talk about your upbringing. I see in my notes you grew up in Roseville, California.
Yeah. Yep.
What about Roseville, California? I've never heard of it. I've only heard of LA, San Diego. What is Roseville, California?
That's fair. It was funny. As I was showing up to the blinds, everybody's getting in. We're all excited. We're all meeting each other. Whenever someone asked where I was from, I always said Sacramento because that's, it's the capital of California. People know where that is.
Okay.
No one knows where Roseville is. Not one person. But we're actually about 20 minutes outside of Sacramento, 20, 30 minutes. So it's just this awesome suburb. Everybody kind of knows everybody. It's got the small town feel, but we've got a nice amount of people being so close to the capital. If I think back to the stuff that we have to do here, my friends and I, the theater kids, we're at the local diner that's open 24 hours, and that's about all you have to do. So that was what we did 24/7. And I love the fact that I got to grow up in Roseville. I was there my whole life. And now I just recently moved about 30 minutes outside of Roseville, away from Sac. So now we're an hour. And so now I'm in a little town called Cool. No one believes me. That's what it's called, but it's COOL. And the temperature does in fact drop.
So you're not slighted that I did not know Roseville?
Not even a little bit.
Okay.
Not even a little. But fun fact, we have a lot of people from Roseville. One of our strongest people that came from here, Molly Ringwald, is from Roseville, California.
Breakfast Club, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Pretty in Pink, the whole thing. It was her. We claim her. She is ours.
She's yours. So now you're currently reside in Cool, California?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool, California. What is cool about Cool, California?
So I literally live in the woods. Like I completely live out in the middle. I'm in a bunch of trees. I feel like I'm in a tree house constantly. Not ideal for scary movies this time of year. But otherwise, I love it out here. It was my first time really experiencing a lot of snow. I'm in the part of Northern California that doesn't snow that often, which took a little bit of getting used to.
I had a friend in high school that was from California. And at the time, I had never traveled out there. So it was like a distant foreign land to me. And he would say to me that, no, I could ski. I could go 3.5 hours up and ski, but then I can go down and it doesn't snow ever. So
it's insane. Where I'm at, I'm literally in the center. I could be in Tahoe, in Lake Tahoe, in about 2 hours, so you can go skiing. In about 2 hours, I could be at the Bay Area. I could be in San Francisco, Golden Gate, doing all that. I could you could be any which way. 2 hours from Santa Cruz. Monterey is probably like 2.5. Like we're really not far from anything where I'm at in California.
It's such a big state. That's why. But you're probably 5-6 hours away from San Diego, like Southern California.
Yeah, not that far at all. It feels like a different world between NorCal and SoCal. Just weather-wise, especially. I don't know why NorCal gets so cold and we're not that far. But yeah, so I love being from California. It's the best.
Is there ever a budding rivalry in the sense of like we're NorCal, we're South Cal? Like, is there ever, or is it just no? You know what? We're California.
The only time I feel like there's a lot of rivalry going on with California is only comes down to sports. It only comes down to who you're supporting. We've got the Golden State Warriors not too far from the Bay even. And then like if you go more down into LA, but we've got the Kings here, we've got the Giants here. And so then if you have the Dodgers, that everybody wants to get up in arms about the sports. But otherwise, I feel like we're pretty united.
Are you a big sports fan at all?
Okay, here's the thing. I can't kick a ball, throw a ball, catch. It's not happening. So I was never able to play any sports. My family is diehard 49er fans. I was born into that.
Niner gang. Yep.
Loving that Niner Nation. And then for baseball, it's funny. My dad is a really big St. Louis Cardinal fan. And so I kind of always like, I grew up singing root for the Cardinals. So I don't follow as much sports as I probably should, but my parents are both very about it.
I was very impressed with how you were able to list every single one. So that alone, I feel like is pretty credible because
I had to pull those out of the filing cabinet, the mental one. It was there.
seems like you were well acclimated to sports growing up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there was always, it's fun because that season it's always on. So like my dad always has a ball game on and my mom always has a football game on. It's funny because like my mom doesn't really care about baseball. My dad's doesn't really care about football. And so, but they're both very passionate about the sport that they love. So it was one of those things where you'd come in, you'd enjoy the game, you'd have fun with them, and you would just hang out, and they were the best part about it.
I love it. I love it. At 13 years old, you joined a girl group called Auburn Road.
Yes.
And you had some pretty cool experiences where you opened up for Toby Keith, Morgan Wallen. Talk to me about some of those experiences because that sounds amazing.
It was very cool. It was actually, it was a group that me and a couple friends had founded when we were like about 12, 13. And we took it. We're like, this is going to be our career. We're going to do this. And worked really, really hard, released a record when we were about 16, 17, and then got on the road, started doing radio tours. Actually, when COVID hit was when we were on radio tour. But yeah, we got to open for Toby Keith back in the day, Morgan Wallen, right when he was just starting out. He's also from The Voice, yay. And we opened for Rascal Flatts, Clay Walker. It was really cool getting that experience just to be on the stages that we would go to concerts at. All growing up, we would see all these artists that we admired, and now all of a sudden we're on that stage. Was the most surreal moment. Grew up singing Life is a Highway, because who didn't? Cars. Right. And so I remember one night we were standing on the side of the stage, just kind of watching the show, and they started singing Life is a Highway. And you just kind of have this full circle moment where you're like, how did we go from singing this in somebody's backyard at a birthday party to now we're on the side of the stage having just met, open for, and are here with that band and hearing that song. So it was, all of those experiences are something that I still feel kind of like is a dream. Like I don't understand how that happened. And I was so lucky and so grateful to have that happen as young as I did. I was probably 19, 20 when all that was happening. And so I'm really, really grateful.
Where did the name Auburn Road originate from?
So it's really fun because we actually, I'm not far from a town called Auburn, and everyone thinks that's where it came from. It did not. We actually have a street in the Roseville area. It's called Auburn Folsom Road. It stretches all through Roseville, Folsom, all these towns that anybody not from California doesn't know what I'm talking about. But the Folsom Prison, so Johnny Cash, that's all over here too. But Auburn Folsom Road was this really long stretched road, and we all lived in a bunch of different cities. And so it was just the same road we all had to be on. If we were going to go to rehearsal, we had to all drive that road. So it was something that united us. It was a way to keep home with us wherever we went, whenever we went on the road. It was just some way to keep a little bit of home around us at all times.
I like it, paying homage to it. Yep.
Yeah.
How did COVID affect your performances? Because you said that you were on a radio tour.
Yeah.
During COVID. Yeah. So what hindrance did COVID play for you?
I mean, COVID, aside from being absolutely devastating to not just the country, but to the world with the amount of people that we lost, it really, it hit every profession that exists. And it really hit live musicians and everybody who made their living making music and creating art to share it out in the world with other people. All of a sudden, we were all very isolated. We were on the tour when it had first hit. So when CNN just put up that I think 14 people had it at the time. And so it was just starting to kind of be a thing that everyone had their eyes on. And by the time we got home, we're about to start a California run. And within an hour, all of the California runs canceled and California shuts down. And within 3 hours, the whole country shut down. So it was tough. It was a lot mentally because I hadn't gone that long not performing in my entire life, probably. From the time I started singing, I've never not sung for anybody for that long. As a result of that, the group did disperse, and then I started my solo career in 2021. And then when stuff started to open up again, I started to perform locally and starting to perform some of my own music and seeing how people would feel about that. And I'm really happy with how the response went. Still picking up steam, tried out for The Voice, that worked out. But yeah, so now I'm just sort of, we're all navigating that post-COVID world. I mean, social media is now a big part of music. I mean, it already was, but now it's even more so.
Right.
While also trying to make sure, fans who come to the shows, they're as safe as they can possibly be, and that we're all really trying to just connect again over the music that we love.
No, you said it best. I remember watching it on TV, and at the time I was watching an NBA game, and I think they said they canceled the NBA game, and then it was just that game for that night, and then it was like they canceled all the games, and then they canceled the season, and so you're right. It really was a very scary time. So I can't imagine a person like yourself, who was in your group, whose job was to go to places to perform for the public, and then it just got ripped away from you out of no control of your own, which is a very scary. I'm sure it was a very scary time. You had mentioned that you had to then at that point go into your own solo career. How intimidating was that? Because it seems like you're doing a lot of the heavy lifting now with that, of trying to book places to go and perform. So how difficult is that for you as a solo artist now?
Going from a group to a solo is no easy feat. It's a lot of, you want to make sure that you feel the confidence in yourself. You're so used to singing with other people that you want to make sure that you feel confident and that you feel good about the music that you're putting out. My team is me. So I do all my bookings. I record all my music. I put together the album. I design the website. I send out all the cold email. Like, if you hear from me, if any form of it, it's me. Like, it's always been kind of a very in-house activity. And, one thing that I'm really grateful for is over my time in the group, I learned a lot. And so I paid attention and I figured out how to make it all work. And so then when I was on my own, I felt like I had a nice understanding of how to move forward, appropriate verbiage when you're talking with people, where to book, pricing on booking. That's still terrifying, but it's a learning curve. We learn as we go.
Yes, because I'm sure for you, you want to do it in a way where you're credible, you're making money, you're respectable, but at the same time, you also, at the beginning, you want to be able to show how friendly you are and show how personable you are. So I'm sure that there's a nice balance that you're still trying to figure out on your own.
Absolutely. There's a great power in running your own business, and you learn a lot while you're doing it. And you learn a lot about business, but you also learn a lot about yourself.
Yes. I would agree. I feel like I feel like we're two kindred spirits in that regard, because this is all me. And so it's like, this is something where I'm still learning what to do, what works, what doesn't work. And there are times where I'm like, that's hilarious. And then it's like, no, the joke doesn't land, and that's okay too. So, but I will say this. You had said it. I have not had one bad thing about my intros. So I will take that. I will take that.
On the intro game, I was like, because you told me, you're like, oh, we're going to do something cool. And I was like, okay. And I'm like listening. I was like, these are great quotes. And then I heard that one and I busted up laughing. I was like, this is amazing. I love this.
At least you knew where I was going with it. In some cases,
you nailed it. That was great.
Okay. So there you go. At least I'm doing something right. And clearly you are too, because you had mentioned you're on The Voice. So we'll flip the page to that now. When did that become a reality for you? So you had to audition. How did that process work?
Yeah. So, they are promoting, actually right now, they're doing the open call for season 26. I was a proud submission for the open call on season 24. I had tried out for season 23. That didn't go as well. And then I decided, it came up on an Instagram ad, and I thought, you know what? I might as well. There's an open call on my 24th birthday. Let's see what happens. And so I was actually at work. I'm a singing teacher. And so we had all the equipment that was needed. And I sang Stand By Your Man. And within about 48 hours, I got a call back. And I was like, no way, I got a call back. This is crazy. And so then you go through, you keep going, you keep trying to do your interviews, do your callbacks. And then I'm so grateful it landed me on the stage at the blind auditions. So we're almost, I did my open call about a year ago, almost to the day. And so it's a long process, but it's so much fun. It's the hardest secret to keep. But now that everybody knows that the blind happened, now I can be Team Gwen forever and just keep cheering it from the rooftop.
I'm sure that it's probably a arduous process of trying to keep your lips sealed over an accomplishment that you're really, really proud of. But I'm sure that that's a very challenging thing.
Exactly. And then, I mean, walking into any store, you hear Holla Back Girl playing, you want to be like, I know her.
Ironically, that's the only song that I actually knew about her. Is that bad? I didn't know her from other things other than Holla Back Girl.
I bet if we turned on Spotify right now, or Apple Music, whatever floats your boat. I bet we could play some of her songs and you'll be like, I didn't know that was Gwen Stefani, because she's such a versatile artist. She did No Doubt. She was the lead singer for that. So if you know any No Doubt songs, you know Gwen Stefani. So
there is a song that somebody told me that it was her. I see, and now I don't want to say this and be wrong, but there's a song called Underneath It All, and somebody told me that was her. Is that her? Is that No Doubt?
That one might be noted. I was definitely, I was more leaned into the Gwen Stefani time. I'm born in 98. So,
93.
Okay, perfect. I'm like, so I might be dating myself here. But yeah, I definitely leaned more into Rich Girl, Sweet Escape.
Okay.
Requesting those at the roller rink. Yep.
Okay. As you're saying them, I'm like, oh wait, I know Rich Girl. Yeah.
Right? But yeah, so Underneath It All, it was a No Doubt song, but I very much lived more into the Gwen Stefani, although Don't Speak is still a banger. And Just a Girl, you know what? Maybe I am a big No Doubt fan. Here we go. Yeah, no, all of her music it's so fun to find more songs that you're like, I heard that in a movie in the early 2000s, and then you can kind of pin it to her. It's fun.
If I ever met her, I would say I appreciate that you taught me how to spell banana. I appreciate.
You're not wrong. You know what's so funny? I just put up a photo. Team Gwen, all of us have just recently been announced and the blinds are done and we're now on to battles. But I put up a photo and I said that it was bananas. And I was talking to someone, and so my brain just kind of blurred out and I was like, B-A-N-A. Okay, cool. And I typed it out. I don't know why, but I was like, thank you, Gwen. Now I will forever know how to spell bananas.
One time I saw somebody post on Twitter or X, I forget which one it is. This was back when I had one. And they said, why couldn't she have taught me how to spell something like receive or more?
All of those. I know. I think we need an album of Gwen Stefani where she literally just teaches us how to spell stuff in a very catchy manner, because we've got bananas on lock.
If anyone could do it, it could be her. It could be her. Before you got on the stage, they aired some of your conversation with Carson Daly. What was it like to have a moment like that with Carson Daly?
It was so much fun. That day is a little bit of a blur. I was really, really nervous. It's the biggest opportunity of your life, and it really all lies in that minute and a half that you leave on the stage. And you've never been in a room with these coaches before, and so you're all starstruck and nervous. But I remember they pulled me aside shortly before I went on, and they said, okay, so we're going to have you talk to Carson. And I was like, I get to talk to Carson. And so he walked up, and, he's so kind. Before the camera started rolling, he was like, so nice to meet you. Good luck. You're going to be great. He's very supportive. And so then talking with him for that hot second before I went out there, it kind of helps you get in the zone a little bit. You're like, okay, let's do this. Let's go out there. Let's have fun. Let's leave it all on the stage and enjoy it.
Yeah, it seems very authentic when I watch it. That's one of the things that I think makes that show so incredible, is I think from the producers to the coaches to the artists like yourself, everyone just seems very authentic, and they seem very supportive of one another, even if you don't proceed into the show far. I've interviewed many people in the past. We talked off camera about that, and I still see some of their stuff on Instagram and stuff, and I see how supportive everyone is. Even years after the show, they're doing their own thing. The people who were in that show or in that season or in past seasons or in future seasons, it's almost like you now have formed this little bond of a family where you're able to.
You are 100% right. I mean, the people perceiving it that way would be completely accurate. You know, the entire team behind the camera is so supportive and so nice. Uh, the coaches, obviously, phenomenal, and they're all so down to earth. Um, all the other contestants, I mean, we really do become a family. We lived together for a prolonged period of time leading up to blinds. And so you really get to know each other, and no one else knows what that experience is like except for the people who are doing it with you. And so you really form this bond together and you form a family. And then what gets really fun is you're like, okay, well, we're the season 24 family, but it's kind of like a branch of a big, it's like, and then your cousin is the season 22 or the season 23, and then you're just one giant voice family. I mean, we all still get to know each other now over social media. Now that blinds are airing and people know that we're on the show, we have people reaching out to us. I know I do, from past seasons. We're like, welcome to the family. And it's all so welcoming and everyone's really supportive of each other. I mean, going into battles, I've already seen people posting, why can't we all get through? And truly that was everybody's reaction on camera and off. We're all so supportive of each other.
No, it does seem that way. It's genuine, and I think that's what makes the show so successful, is that it's a trickle-down effect from the top to the bottom. Everyone is just authentic and genuine. It's genuine reactions. It's genuine, like when you see the faces when people turn around, when the coaches turn around, the authenticity of the contestants is just a really, really cool thing to see on TV. So in your case, your mom and dad were watching. While you were walking on stage, I don't know if you heard this. Gwen said, "I am winning." Did you hear that?
No, I
No? It was on TV. It was on. Yes, you did.
I want to go back and rewatch. I was, when I watched it on premiere night, I was like, oh my gosh, it's airing. And so I haven't like sat down and rewatched it and really, really listened. So I'll have to go back.
Yes, you will, and you'll have to sit there and go, "Oh yeah, Nathanael said that." Yes, because she flat out said, "Oh, I'm winning," and I think John said, "Well, when?" Because Gwen rhymes with when or something like that. Like they were kind of like heckling each other. So, but a lot of the times, from past people that I've interviewed, they said they don't hear the coaches having their dialogue. So you didn't hear any. You don't hear any of that.
No, you can't. And so it's, you can hear them, like once they turn around, you can hear everything, like as they're talking to you, at the very end. But when you're up front and you're on that stage, you don't hear if they're talking or if they're making their, like, you always watch and they go, ooh, yeah. Like whenever they do that, you don't hear any of that. So much so that I convinced myself, because I was so nervous, that the chairs were empty. I was like, there's no one in there. There's nobody in those chairs. And if they want to prove me otherwise and turn around, by all means, let's rock and roll. But until then, they're empty. And so, yeah, you don't hear anything. And then you see them and you're like, okay, it's happening.
That's a really good strategy. I never heard that. I like that. They pretending that nobody's there.
Oh, yeah. I was like, there's no one there. And then I decided I wasn't even going to look at the chairs. I was just going to use my peripherals for the most part and play to the crowd. And I remember walking over to the side of the stage the beginning of the song, and I was like, okay, let's do a peripheral check-in. And I checked in, and then I'm staring directly into the lovely eyes of Gwen Stefani. And I was like, okay, cool. And I freak out a little internally. And then I walked to the other side of the stage, and I was like, okay, let's do another peripheral check-in. And then I'm making eye contact with Reba McEntire. And then you actually hear it in my blind. You hear the air leave my body. At the very end of one of the words, like right before the chorus, I just can't catch my breath. I'm just completely emotional. I'm starstruck. There's a lot going on.
It seems like that. I can't fathom, because I've never been in a situation similar, not even close. But I can't imagine just you're performing, you're singing, which takes a lot out of you.
Yeah.
You're singing the 90 seconds, like you said, so you're giving your all. And at the same time, there's the crowd factor. There's the factor that this is going to be on national TV. There's the coaches. So there's a lot of external elements that are contributing.
It's terrifying and it's nerve-wracking, and you want to make sure you're doing yourself justice, that you're doing the people that came to support you, your hometown. You really, just everything lies in that moment. And I remember telling people, I remember reading articles of people from past seasons. And, I admire all of them for everything that they've done. And I remember reading them saying it was one of the most I don't want to say stressful, but nerve-wracking experiences that they've gone through. And I remember thinking, having opened for the acts that I had, and like I remember being nervous about those crowds, but you figure it out. And I was like, maybe it can't be that bad, right? I was wrong, very wrong. It is very nerve-wracking, but I remember I was so excited for the day. My dad has a picture. I'll have to post it. When we left the stage, I'm on Team Gwen. It's happened. Blinds are done. I fell asleep immediately upon entering the van. I was just knocked out. So you kind of crash at the end of it, but it's amazing.
Well, it's like an adrenaline rush. So it's like you're up, 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 and then all of a sudden it's like boom, and you just crash.
Oh my gosh. And then your brain's going, none of that happened, right? Like I wasn't just in a group hug with Reba, McEntire, and Gwen Stefani, because what kind of life would that be? So then when you kind of sit down, then you're just kind of like, I'm done.
You woke up and you're like, is this a fever dream? I can't.
Pretty much. I was like, that happened, right?
You're like, is this real life? And then your parents turn to you and go, no, actually, you have to go right now. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
So you sang the song Blown Away by Carrie Underwood, very powerful artist. What compelled you to want to pick that song?
Carrie is my girl. I've loved Carrie since I could open my mouth and sing Jesus Takes the Wheel. Like, I love her to death. I think that she's a really impressive vocalist. We all know. We're all on Team Carrie. But, she's an amazing performer. I've seen her quite a few times, and the way that she's able to use her voice and tell the story in a song, I've always loved Blown Away. That record was one of the first records I found on my own that wasn't referred to me, wasn't something that my parents gave me, a friend gave me. This was the first time I found a full album that I learned top to bottom. I could sing any song on the Blown Away record. But Blown Away always stood out. I had performed it one other time at this really, really tiny little festival in my hometown when I was probably 12. Maybe 11 or 12. And my mom was the only one there. So a bit of a jump going from performing to my mom and then the town train tracks and performing it on The Voice in front of America. There was no baby step there. So it had been a while since I sang the song, but it's my carpool karaoke song. I love that song so much. And so I'm glad that I got the opportunity to sing it.
Yeah, you did a great job. You looked incredible. You had great stage presence. It definitely showed your confidence, your swagger. Thank you
so much.
Of course. Gwen turned around pretty quickly, it seemed like. I don't know if that was for TV, but it seemed like she turned around. And then Reba shortly after. Then came decision time, where these two lovely ladies are battling over you to the point where Reba name dropped Carrie Underwood.
I know.
So that goes to show you that they wanted you really badly. John said, "Niall, pop the question." That was amazing. Great TV.
I couldn't help it. I remember after it happened, I was like, "What did I just do?" But then I had, once it was in the commercial, I had a lot of the One Direction girls all messaging me. They're like, "Thank you. I'm living my dream through you in that moment."
Vicariously. I mean, John set it up, and Niall just hit a home run. That's really all that happened.
He set it up. I had to commit to the joke.
You know what? Actually, I was going to say, I'm taking that away. Niall didn't hit the home run. You did. Okay? That's what it is. Because you were the one that committed to that joke. So that's right. That's right. You're not wrong. John, in baseball terms, John was the catcher. He said the pitch. Niall pitched it, and you hit the home run. Boom.
Yes, I like it. We brought that sports back around. We got this.
That's right. Speaking of which, sports background. How you mentioned Carrie Underwood. You want to know an interesting fact?
I do.
So NBC does Sunday Night Football.
Yes.
And Carrie Underwood sings the intro to Sunday Night Football.
He does.
Up until last year, I didn't know who Carrie Underwood was until that. But similar to what you said, then I had people say she sings this song, this song, this song, this song, and then I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I know who she is.
The second you drop a "Before He Cheats," like, if you've ever been in a karaoke bar, you know that song.
Yes.
So
I saw. Yeah. I had to catch myself because I saw your face as soon as I said I didn't know her.
No, I promise. Like, I know some of it.
Visual audience, you'll see. She was ready to rip me apart. So, Gwen said you chose Gwen. That's very clear. Gwen even said you're crazy for doing so. Why did you make that decision? What leaned you more towards Gwen?
It's wild because you have 10 seconds to dictate your entire life. And before you go on stage, they do tell you, they say, make sure if they turn, make sure you listen. Because you could have a plan going into this and they throw, I'm going to look at this. Another sports reference. Are you ready? They throw a curveball. And that is very much what happened. Going into it as a country artist, I was sure that I was going to, if Reba turned, I wanted to be on Team Reba. And don't get me wrong, she is the queen and I adore everything that she is. I'm starstruck every time. Every time she looked at me and we made eye contact in that blind, I was like, and so it was an amazing experience and I loved hearing what she had to say. When she name dropped Carrie, I ascended for a moment and then we returned. But talking to Gwen, they ended up actually not airing a lot of what Gwen said. She probably talked for maybe 5 more minutes just at me with plans she had. She stood up, she walked to the stage. She was fighting really hard. And I just felt this pull to her. Almost like I've known her my whole life. I just felt really connected to her. So in that moment, I just kind of felt like I had to go with my gut, and my gut was telling me, go with Gwen. And then, now with battles starting, I tried to be a little strategic and thinking, okay, I would assume a lot of country artists are going to go over to Reba's team. And with battles, you compete against your own team. And I would love to be either the only country artist or one of very few country artists on Gwen's team. I might stand out a little more that way. And so, the goal is let's stay on this train. And so my thought process was maybe I'll have a better shot at getting through battles if I'm one of the only country artists. So we'll see what happens.
So there was some strategy there. Wow, that's really cool. I like the perspective. I like the inside scoop that you were able to give. So in that moment, Reba then said, "You better behave because I'm going to steal her." So I think she loves you. So you did something right.
I was honored, and then I felt so bad because you don't know any of the other things that they say until the show airs. So when they do their little confessionals after everything, and when Reba was like, she was supposed to pick me, I was like, I'm so sorry. I felt so bad. But
your parents look shocked too. Your parents look shocked.
They were. Keep in mind, my whole thing going into this was Team Reba, and so they were like, oh, Reba turned. But the second that it was that, my parents were like, oh yeah, I see what you did there. And when we left, they're like, you know what, I get it. They're both amazing. And, they love Gwen. And it doesn't hurt that, Blake Shelton with his bass fishing. And my dad was like, love Blake. He likes to bass fish. So, it was a lot of fun. When Reba said she wanted to steal me, that was probably the highlight of the whole blind, only because I didn't see her walk up. So after I picked Gwen and I gave her a hug, I came out of the hug. I didn't see Reba had walked up to me. And so then she grabs me and hugs me. And then you can't see it much on the screen. She's holding on to me. She's like, I'm going to steal you and this and that. And I was like, what is happening? Both of them love me. This is insane. And then they both hugged me. And I remember I wouldn't shut up about that to my parents for, you know what, I still haven't stopped. And I don't see any sign of that coming anytime soon. That was the highlight of the whole. That hug, oh my God.
I don't think you should, because I think in terms of the whole process, you made out like a bandit because you had Carson Daly's conversation. You had John Legend make a reference to Niall about marrying you. You had the two of them fighting over you. You had the two of them hugging you. So I think I think
I think you're 100% right. I hadn't thought about it like that, but you know what? I agree. I like this.
The sequence of events, I think you came out as the champ. So I think you should take it. I don't know
if any of it happened. We're not really that sure.
That's right. All right. Well, thank you so much for giving some insight on that. Are you ready for some burning questions?
I'm ready.
Hit me. Let's do it. Story time, okay? I want you to tell me the bathroom studio story.
Oh my gosh. So I
do my research.
You really did. I was like, what? This is crazy. So I was in the middle of making, I think it was a YouTube video at the time, and I had gotten everything all set up. And anybody who makes content knows that it's you got to get ready. You got to do the whole thing. It's a long process.
It is.
And I set my ring light up, and I move to go get water. And I hit the cord and my ring light collapses and shatters. And I was like, this is awesome. But I had to have the content up the next day. So I was like, okay, well, I have to figure out how to do this. And so I had one of those, like the little tripods that can kind of bend around things.
Yes.
Looks like Spy Kids movies. So I was looking everywhere for a light, anywhere. And I ended up finding like a shower rod in the bathroom of my parents' house and wrapped it around that and turned it a certain way. And I was like, okay, well, that might work as I had moved that thing everywhere. So that is the bathroom studio. It was very professional setup.
No, it sounds like it. I
can't help it. I was like, you know what? We're gonna make it work. I don't know.
Hey, and you got to do what you got to do. That's life. It's all about adapting. You adapted to the situation after you involuntarily broke your ring light. Talk to me about the first song you wrote in 8th grade called First Love.
Where are you finding these things?
Nathanael does his research.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Okay, so the song First Love, very fun. It wasn't my first love, plot twist. 8th grade. You think you know things.
Yes, of course.
My best friend Elena and I used to have this Spider-Man journal. And we would trade it off in between classes. So it's like 8th grade, freshman year. And we'd pass each other. And we had our last class was drama class. And so that was the last class of the day. So that was when you'd meet up and you'd talk about what happened. But throughout the day, we're just passing this journal back and forth. And so each of us would write a song lyric and then give it to the other. And then in the next class, we paid attention. I promise. We were good students. But we'd write another lyric and then we'd meet up at the end of the day. And then I would call her at night when I got home and I'd pull up my guitar and we'd write the whole song together. And I think at least the first 10 songs in that journal, I still have it. If I had thought about it, I would have brought it out here. If I knew that you were going to be pulling things from the archive. But I do still have the journal. It has fallen apart. It is a wreck, but I do still have that song written in it. And I don't even remember who came up with the concept. I don't know where it came from, but that's where it was.
That's okay. We'll do a part 2 at some point, and that's when you'll pull it up.
It'll be like the diary deep dive. It'll be great.
And I'm here for it. I'm here for it. All right, are you ready for this one then? Okay.
I don't know anymore.
You're like, I don't know. Who are you? Who did you call up? All right. Give me your best text to put someone in the friend zone.
Oh my god. No, I know. I knew it was happening from here. This in my intro when you called me a lit friend, I went, huh.
Yeah, you're like, where did he get this?
Page. I mean, lit friend's a great one. Calling someone a really lit friend, asking for relationship advice for your ex, that's a good one. Not to send out necessarily. I haven't sent that. I've received it. And then, if you really, really want a good one, head over to my TikTok, and I knew a nice handful of fellas who sent dang near copy and paste. So, if you're looking for ideas, go ahead and head over there.
I feel like the worst thing that someone could say to me, or I could say to someone to put them in that zone, is saying bro or dude. Like if I said that to a female, I'm pretty sure that she's gonna go ahead and say,
like, it's a very solidifying moment. The second that you get that, my favorite that I used to get a lot that I enjoyed was that you're just really cool. And like, I definitely still want to be friends with you. I'm just not looking for anything serious. And then they get in a relationship the next day. I was kind of like, do you remember that movie? What was it? The Good Luck Chuck, where it's like everybody that they date him, and then whoever they dated next, like they married. I was Chuck. So.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, no, I mean, there's plenty of them that you can go down, and we've all been there. We've all had bad ones. We've all had good ones.
It helps us become who we are as people.
That's right. It makes us who we are, so that way we can be the best versions of ourselves. And we can
great songs about
it, and laugh about it, and get surprised about them on podcasts in a couple years. So. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
No, it doesn't. I love pineapple, and I'm really sorry. A lot of my family does love. They love a good pineapple on a pizza. I don't personally.
Believe
think
it.
they go together. I encourage all of you with any of your belief systems. I support you, whatever makes you happy. However, that would not make me happy.
Okay. All right. Well, you know what? You are the lit friend. No, I'm just
I try to be the lit friend best I can.
Who would you say are some of your inspirations musically? I know you talked about Carrie Underwood, but give me some of your inspirations musically.
Yeah, I mean, Carrie's up there. Ashley McBryde, obsessed with her. I just saw her actually about 3 or 4 days ago at the Opry. They were doing a Keith Whitley tribute show, and I splurged and got third row tickets and was just staring at her. She's phenomenal. Both of the as a vocalist and a lyricist. In the same kind of lyrical world, love Brandy Clark as well. If you haven't listened to the 12 Stories record by Brandy Clark, you are doing yourself a disservice. It is the epitome of a country music record, and I will die on that hill. I love a good lyric. I think it's the most important thing when it comes to your music, because that's how you affect people. That's how you touch them. And so, if I had like my desert island like playlist, it would be Carrie Underwood, Ashley McBryde, and Brandy Clark.
Okay. I like it. All right. Are you ready for the chat pack, which is when I'm going to pick out a random question from the chat pack?
Okay.
All right. Let's see. If it has too many words, I might skip it. I don't know.
That's
No,
okay.
I'm kidding. Okay. Let's see. Almost everyone can recall a missed photo opportunity because he or she did not have a camera. What moment above all others do you wish you could have caught on a camera or film?
You know, it's so funny because it's not even necessarily one that like I missed per se. There's like nothing's really coming to mind necessarily at the forefront, but I remember thinking until My Blind aired, how we just talked about like that group hug.
Yes.
I was like, if something happens and they don't air that part, I'm going to lose it, because I was like, I need that. I need to see that again. I need to know what that looked like. I need a photo of it, because no one's going to believe me if I don't get a picture of it. And so when they showed it on the screen, I definitely went on YouTube and screenshot it. Because I was like, I need that to be a thing. That was definitely the one.
All right. What's up, everybody? It is the Halloween season, which means pumpkin spice is back literally everywhere. And it is also back with Jocko Fuel. 22 grams of protein, 2-pound bag. The pumpkin spice protein powder is back for a limited time just for the Halloween season. Get yours today and use promo code Reyes Reflection to save 10% off your order. Again, Reyes Reflection to save 10% off your order.
And he's back. Don't
We're
worry.
back.
I thought it was just recording. It was still recording while you were gone, so I recorded our sponsors. I got you covered. Don't worry.
Thank you so much. Look at my Kristen. You are the homie. You are the homie.
I'm the lit friend. We know this.
I know. We've already established that you are the lit friend.
I do what I can.
So, all right. Are you ready for this one? Okay.
Yes.
I want to hear what conspiracy theory you believe in. But before you do, hold on. Think about it for a second.
Oh my gosh.
All right. Now I want to hear what conspiracy theory you believe in.
My gosh. I don't know if it's like I don't know if this counts as a conspiracy. I mean, I am very into the Mandela effect. I think that is insane. Does that count as a conspiracy?
I would 100% believe that counts as a conspiracy.
Okay. Yeah, no, I think that's like I have a very good memory. My friends make fun of me for it all the time. So they remember that time we did this thing, and they're like, not even a little bit. So I have a really good memory. So whenever I see some of this Mandela effect stuff, I believe it because I remember it another way. So I would say that one. I could fall down that rabbit hole for a while.
I would agree because there's a lot of things that I remember distinctly as a kid, and we both established early in the episode that we're 90s kids. So like there's a lot of things from the 90s that I'm like, no, I remember it differently, and now you're trying to – it's almost like I almost feel like it's another way of gaslighting in a way of like –
the universe gaslighting us at the end of the day. And
Right?
I don't care for it.
No, I know. It's like, I know what I saw. Do not sit here and try to tell me that that's not
It
true.
is the Berenstein Bears. It
Right.
is.
Yes. And then another thing, the Fruit of the Loom. I'm pretty sure I had the cornucopia. I had a
I
lot of
remember
the
that.
T-shirts and the underwear. So I saw that thing a lot of times.
I remember that. I feel like, what was the other one? Looney Tunes.
I agree.
I like that one. These came up on Facebook again the other day. I'm that person that clicks the BuzzFeed Facebook Mandela Effect articles.
Buzz.
They also like to tell me the 51 Amazon items that I need coming this fall, and so I click those. So I am very up to date on my Mandela effects.
I love it. Plug in your socials. Where can people find you, listen to you, hear all this amazing content that you have? You're a very charitable person because you give it out to the world for us to see and for people to do research on it. Where can people find you?
Well, thank you so much. Everyone can find me. I tried to keep it consistent. You can find me on TikTok and on YouTube, on Instagram, Facebook, everything at Kristen Brown Music. So it's Kristen. I know that one gets hard. And then the color, I kept it easy. So yeah, Kristen Brown Music. You can find me. I'm posting right now a lot of new content that's going to be coming out. I want to do a lot of, like Q&As about the show and just let people kind of get to know me on a more personal level. And then, yeah, I've got some exciting stuff that's kind of in the works I'm looking forward to. And then, we're leading up to battles. So make sure that you tune in on NBC on Mondays and Tuesdays and watch me do a battle and keep your fingers crossed for me.
Yes, we will. And you have a Christmas song. And you have a Christmas.
You can find me on Spotify. I think if you type in Kristen Brown Music, it'll still come up with me. I wrote and produced a Christmas song for my aunt a couple years ago, and I did the music video for it. We're just shy of 100,000 views on that. So let's see if we can get it over that mark this year. That's the goal.
Yes.
But yeah, I edited the video myself, did everything. That was the first song that I did on my own and put it out. The song had been written, but in terms of production and video and everything, all that started on probably October. Wow, almost the day. October about 25th, that all started. And the song was out by November 26th. And so it was a very fast turnaround, but we got it done. Make sure you go check that out. Add it to your Christmas playlist. It's not necessarily a party playlist song. People will cry. But if you're looking for a looking at Christmas light song, that's the one.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to download it. My favorite Christmas song is about a heartbreak anyway, so.
Perfect. So it's called Christmas Spirit. Make sure you check it out.
Okay, perfect. I love it. Well, Kristen, you could tell that we're very comfortable because I'm still wearing this. I really appreciate that you took time out of your busy day, sat and chat on the pod with me. You are now sworn in as a friend of the show. Look at this. Boom, boom, boom. It's, Yay! You know what? I would argue it's cooler than being an Avenger. So you are basically an Avenger
I'm an Avenger
Reflection.
now.
That's right. That's right. Who would you be if you could choose an Avenger?
I have the Spider-Man notebook. I feel like I got to stay loyal to oh, you know who I'd be? Can I be a Spider-Gwen? Is that a thing I can be?
And because you're on Team Gwen, there you go. Look at that. I love it. I love it. Well, once again, thank you so much. I hope you had fun. I really appreciate you doing this.
Thank you so much. Hope to talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. That is going to do it for this episode of the Reyes Reflection Podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow the socials, and as always, may you live, may you love, and may you thrive. I'm Oprah, and I love you all. What's up, everybody? Nathanael Reyes here, and get this. I am working with a company that Mark Cuban invested in. It is Mad Rabbit Tattoo Aftercare Skin Products. You can go ahead and create your own bundle today and use promo code Reyes Reflection to save 20%. Again, Reyes Reflection to save 20%. Get yours today.